yesterday we talked about different the concept of open educational resources. We also discussed about different places from where we can get copyright free or open licensed content to create open educational resources. We also discussed about the places from where we can get music, we can get images, we can get textbooks. And the one of the interesting thing about this open educational resources is that we can make changes, we can modify the already existing material and redistribute the material as our own. So that is the one of the flexibilities associated with open educational resources. So in today's class we will discuss more about the different the concept of MOOCs and how it is implemented, and we will also discuss about the different models of MOOCs. You might have also heard what is MOOC and what are the different. You might have heard. How many of you have heard about like MOOC, the concept? Uh, Certainly, you might have heard. So I will just continue with the presentation. So, uh, what is MOOC? MOOC is basically massive open online courses. Massive open online courses, that is the full form of MOOC, and it is basically an online education system, and it aims at a larger scale interactive participation of users with the help of World Wide Web. So there will be always large scale interactive participation. They will be having features like video, study material, quizzes, and online examinations, uh, and try to make more efficient than traditional education system. These are some of the characteristics. And if you see this diagram here, all the terms are explained in a bit like a manner, what actually all the terms, like what do you mean by massive, what do you mean by open, what is online, and what is course. So we'll try to understand this image. So first letter is, that is massive. M for massive. Massive means that it involves a large number of learners. For example, if you see in a classroom setting, we will have maximum 100, 200 students. Apart from that, we will not have much students. But in a massive online courses, you will have the number of learners that will be registered in a particular course will be too high. It can also be in millions also. So there are some MOOCs, like if you might have heard about Udacity, the first Sebastian Thrun, like the making developing search engines, one course when he launched. So that course had enrollments more than 1 million registrations. So you can imagine that how many people can learn with this technology. So the massive that is involved here is the number of learners that are involved or that are covered in this particular MOOC. Similarly, if you see one of the examples like Swayam and NPTEL in India, they have very good registration from all over India. The people get registered themselves. Then more than 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000 people register in one course. So that is a good number. So it is massive. Not if you compare with the traditional teaching, we will have maximum 200 or 150 or 200 students in a classroom. Then the next term is, that is open. Open means that it should be open to all. Usually the MOOCs are open to all, means anybody can register. Like for example, in traditional teaching, traditional learning model, only those people who are registered in a particular university can only register in that course. For example, you are from, because you belong to Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, that's why you are registered in this CBCS course. But outsiders cannot register in this course. So that is closed registration. But in open this MOOCs, the registration is open to anybody. That is one. Then the content is itself is open and free of charge. And then mostly, sometimes some of the MOOCs, they charge very nominal fees also, not a fees kind of, but for the their functionality, they call, they charge some money. So they are affordable in nature, so anybody can afford it. It is free of charge sometimes, and the content is open. uh, some of the, but these three question marks are like sometimes it is not fully applicable in all the MOOCs, but the open registration is one that is allowed. Anybody who wants to register, they can register in this course. Then online means that usually MOOCs are offered through online medium, that we discussed in the previous slide also, that they are offered through the World Wide Web, through online, that is through internet. You have to access these courses. So there is no traditional location or a particular physical location where you have to go and sit and take classes or learn. So that is the term, that is online. And the course is the similar like what you are learning in traditional universities or institute. The course is like some curriculum which you have to which will have some start a date, some end date, and it will have some college credits also. You will provide means there will be assessments, there will be feedback, and the one thing that is important with the this MOOCs is that they are self-paced. Self-paced means that learner can learn at their own speed. For example, we all know that some learners are quick learners, some learners are slow learners. So in traditional teaching, what happens that the slow learners, they are left behind, or depends on the style of the teacher. So it is highly like depends whether they how the classes are being conducted in that particular setup. But in MOOCs, there is a flexibility that the learner can learn at their own pace. Means they can stop at a moment and they can go back to the notes or to video or to audio material, and then they can come back, and then they can catch up also if in between they have some work, they cannot attend the classes like that. And every course, there will be one start date and there will be one end date. So the course will run like a course we run in universities. Some of the established MOOC platforms, they provide credits also, and some of the colleges or universities, traditional universities, they have also included that credit in their syllabus. For example, in India, UGC has asked all the universities to make through their academic council to make the Swayam credits into their own syllabus. So that means that if you complete a course of 4 credit or 8 credit on Swayam, that those credits will be awarded, included in the uh, in your traditional teaching also. So that is one benefit. Some of the credits are considered by major universities in the world also. So it depends. Badges and other motivational uh, certificates and others are provided usually in these courses. And the instructor role in these courses is also different. Here the instructor basically tries to be more like a facilitator than a teacher or a kind of a, so there is a concept of sage on the stage to sage among the people. That is like in traditional model, teacher will be speaking and the students will be just hearing or listening to the lecture. But in this model, what happens, there will be more interactivity will be involved, and the instructor will act more like a facilitator. So a lot of learning material is already there, but the instructor is just facilitating when to release that material, and to whom we have to release, at what time we have to release, and then if we have to make some changes to the material that they have to do. So the instructor role is a little bit different than it was in the traditional model. Learning community wise, if you say, uh, different people can register. Like in traditional courses, if you see, there is some eligibility requirement that you have to be bachelor in X discipline with this much percent of marks, or with this much division, then only you can register in a particular course. But here that freedom is there. So the learning community is very vast, very varied. For example, in some philosophy courses, there are people from chemistry background, there are people from psychology background, they are attending. Similarly, for computer science courses, people from philosophy, psychology, and they are attending computer science courses. So the learning community itself is very varied. So all those things have to be keep in mind while developing these courses. And then because there is a large number of users, learners that are involved. Say for example, 1 million or 10,000 or 1 lakh users are involved. So that makes very difficult from the from the learner point of view, like how to script the how to assess the assessments or how to make feedbacks. So that is again a big problem in MOOCs, but some solutions are there, like scripted assessments. Means some scripts can be used to assess. Computers can be used to assess uh, the feedbacks or the assessments, so that automatically the grades will be allotted. Uh, like that, some people are trying, and it is there also. Like for example, some Python courses and other courses, you write the program. If the program is correct, it will automatically the system, because in the server there are scripts that checks the whether the program is correct. Automatically checks. There is no person involved in the background checking your whole program. Like usually in traditional modes, there will be a teacher who will assess the assignment. So scripted means automatically by using some kind of programs, the course assessments are done, so that if the large massive number of learners can be accommodated and can be evaluated. And other methods are also there, but that is out of scope for this particular uh, class. And then we will also discuss about little bit about the X MOOC and C MOOC. So basically X MOOCs that focus on more scalability, whereas C MOOCs focus on the interaction. We'll discuss this also in the next slides. So what are the advantages that MOOC offers to the learners? So the learner can use any online tool that are relevant. They can that is the one benefit. People have no access to formal higher education can participate also. Like for example, if somebody wants to learn very large scale integrations, and they do not have formal degree in or BCA or something, they also can attend it and gain knowledge. So that is one benefit of advantage of MOOCs. Informal and can be organized easily, very informal in nature, it can be organized easily. And the learning is possible by the collaboration of learners and instructors, supports career opportunities. Many like these MOOCs are offering very high career opportunities. For example, Udacity and even Google has started some MOOCs also. Udacity, Coursera, their certificates are being very well considered by reputed IT firms or by reputed companies. So if you complete a course on Coursera or Udacity, according to your background, then there are chances that you will get better career opportunities. So that is also one like advantage of MOOCs. There are people from philosophy background completed some online Udacity courses from Udacity courses, and they are doing job in Google. So you can just imagine the advantages of the MOOCs, that people can how these MOOCs can support in career opportunities. So this is one enrollment is open to anybody in the world. No fee, no credentials needed. Means anybody can join, and usually there will be no fee, and no eligibility criteria or some credentials will be required, whether you should have minimum basic degree like that. We'll see some few existing books, some Indian book platforms. A little data is little old, but you can see that we have NPTEL from an IIT Madras, but it has all the mostly all seven in IITs and IISc Bangalore as a partner. And MOOCkit was also there, but I think now it is not working. So it is from IIT Kanpur, IIT BX, that is from IIT Bombay, Swayam from MHRD, that is still existing. And if you see the course format wise, this table shows that all are scheduled. Some courses are self-paced also, but mostly they are scheduled. Learning model is online, whereas some are blended also. And you see the number of courses they are offering. But yesterday we had seen that NPTEL has more than 15,000 courses now, and usually the number data is also different, and the credit, institutional credit, whether it provides or not. The SWAYAM provides institutional credit. NPTEL and MOOCIT ID, they are partially supported. Language wise, Hindi, English, and other languages it is available. They have their own mobile apps or app platform, etc. So this is the website that of NPTEL. It provides provide lot of MOOCs related to engineering disciplines, related to management disciplines, related to the professional communications disciplines. So you can just visit this website and you can see what are the upcoming courses and where you can register. And so usually a course goes for 4 weeks, then 8 weeks and 16 weeks. So if you want to, it depends on how much amount of the time you have at present. So 16-week courses, every time there will be 2 times exams in the year. In the March and in the April there will be some exam, and then in January I think there will be some exam. So like that you can register for exam, and the exam will be proctored, means you have to go physically to some exam center, and for that you will have to pay some fees. I think at present NPTEL charges around 1,000 for one examination, and you can select the courses from here and enroll it, and then after 8 weeks or 16 weeks, and you will have to attend one examination. In between also you will have to complete the assignments, weekly assignments, and they will also have weightage for the final uh, score, whatever you will gain. So they provide certificates. They provide various certificates like gold elite, and other certificates are there depending on the score that you will get after the examination. And then MOOCIT, this is the one website, MOOC Management Software, developed by IIT Kanpur. And this is basically one software. You can also install it at your institute, and then you can start your own MOOCs also, or you can host it on some web server and start your own MOOC if you have. And similarly, open source, there is one IIT BX, that is also another platform that is from IIT Bombay, and they also provide a lot of educational MOOCs, skill MOOCs, teach MOOCs, life MOOCs, like that. So different courses are available. And IIM Bangalore also has this IIM BX, that is also a good platform. There also you can learn a lot of courses from IIM faculty members. Then we will discuss about the SWAYAM portal. This is also in your syllabus also. SWAYAM. So basically, SWAYAM an initiative by Government of India, and uh, and MHRD, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development. And basically, in this, it is a massive online course platform, and they have divided the course into 4 quadrants. You see here 4 quadrants. One is that is video lecture, second that is specially prepared reading material, and third is self-assessment test through test and quizzes, and fourth is online discussion forum for clearing the doubt. So every course will have 4 quadrants, and uh, so uh, they will be having some video lectures, some reading material, then there will be some quizzes, and finally a discussion forum will be there. So these are 4 methods by which we can communicate with the SWAYAM. So this we'll talk about detail in later. Then the another platform that is very popular is Coursera. Coursera has a lot of courses. Even all the UK and US universities, European universities have joined hand with Coursera, and it is basically nowadays it is hosting online courses from C190 plus leading universities and companies. So all of them are now hosting their, apart from hosting your own uh, online course, you can host it on Coursera also. So Coursera provides a certificate, and some courses are chargeable also. I was discussing about Udacity, and Udacity was one of the Stanford professor. He started this and basically targets more on computer science, and a very good platform. Many companies, the degree is recognized by top companies worldwide. You see, Google, Amazon Web Services, AT&T, IBM. All these companies have recognized the certificate of Udacity. That is another very good platform. If you are from some computer science or from IT a discipline, you can complete a course and gain new skills, so that it will improve you in your career later on. edX, and in another platform, mostly UK based universities have collaboration. US based universities have collaboration with edX, and they offer all the online courses. And Coursera and edX has a lot of courses in mathematics and humanities, social sciences, like that, law. But Udacity is more specific to computer sciences and IT field. Then MOOC models, if we talk, like it has two models. One is that is XMOOC. So in XMOOCs, what happened? It is predetermined, instructor-led, structured, and sequenced weekly activities. So what happens that every week there will be some material, instructor-led, predetermined. Everything will be decided in the first before the course start itself. You can know in which week you are going to learn what. So that is XMOOC. So more like a classroom teaching. Only difference is like the material is available beforehand, and structured sequenced weekly activity. You have to first finish one activity, then you can go to another week or another activity. So short content based videos, readings and problem sets are available. Quizzes, peer grade assessment. So peer grade assessment is also done in some of the MOOCs. Peer graded assignments means that the participants itself grade the assignments of other participants. So for example, if I give you some assignment and I ask that the activity is that you have to assess the assignment of one of your colleagues, one of your another participant. So in that way, every participant has to assess at least two assignments. So if 50% of the people can complete their activity, so the all the assignments will be graded. So like usually in the social sciences, where you cannot implement a computer programming or scripts, you cannot write. In that case, peer graded assessments are used. Then discussion forum participation is optional. Usually there will be a discussion forum. Discussion forum means like chat rooms, or like you have groups. Those kind of forums will be there, where the participants will register, and they can ask questions there itself, and other participants can see the questions and they can answer the questions if they know. So the participants can talk with each other. They can discuss the problems that they are facing, and in between, instructor will also put the questions or answer some of the questions, like that. So basically a discussion forum will be there, but it will be optional in nature in XMOOC. Like for example, Swayam, you do not there will be a discussion forum, but it's not compulsory that you have to go there and register. Then usually delivered via third party platforms, providers like Coursera or edX. Now CMOOCs means that C means more collaboration. So more clear, the collaboration will be there. So social technical system of learning, where the teacher's voice is not an essential hub but a node in an overall network, means here the teacher is more like a participant itself, and like unique products created by students, blog post, images, diagram, videos. And the discussion forums are the main here, where people come and they discuss many things over the and they learn together. That is, facilitator aggregates, reviews, summarizes, and reflects on activity in daily, weekly newsletter. And usually these are bootstrap platform, and collaboration tools are used for conducting this kind of MOOCs. So CMOOCs are not so popular, but it is more like brainstorming sessions or for shorter duration programs they are used. So now this business model concept is also there, that is called a freemium and premium kind of MOOCs are also available. Although in strict sense their definition we cannot call it as a MOOC, but they start of late they started asking some charging some fees also. So freemium MOOCs, we say that where you do not have to pay anything, you can register and you can complete a course, you will get the certificate. So that is freemium courses. Usually these kind of courses are available from established universities, established institutions or public funded institutions. Next option is that is premium. So in premium what happens, like you will have to pay some money to get yourself registered in the this in particular MOOC. So that is you have to pay, but there will be a preview option, but in preview option there won't be any certificate will be available for you, so you can learn the things. That is why they are still can be called as MOOCs. But since you are not getting a certificate, so they and for since you have since for getting certificate you have to pay some money, so that is one problem. And so here the premium word I have included, that is a premium model in which the participants have to pay some fees to get certificates. So that is premium, and along with that they provide special assistance or a dedicated discussion forum for paid participants like that. So we will talk about the SWAYAM initiative from MHRD in detail, as it is in your syllabus also. So basically, it's an initiative by Government of India and specifically the MHRD. And the basic principle that is behind this SWAYAM is that access, equity, and quality. So quality education, equally accessible to all. That is the one of the main fundamental objective behind the uh, SWAYAM, because we all know that there is in the knowledge economy or in the uh, uh, this there is a lot of digital divide exist. Digital divide means, like we have also discussed it also, like some when lot of people they do not have access to the technology. So and so the most of the students in our country leaving behind 3 to 4% students, they cannot get admission to higher education institutions with having a high quality kind of structure. So to to fill that gap, this SWAYAM initiative has been started by the government, and usually this targets the higher education of the country. And for others, like for the secondary education and for intermediate and primary education, there is a different platform that government has created. So it includes mostly all the AICTE approved, uh, AICTE is the one of the members, and of late NPTEL is also merged with SWAYAM, and then UGC is there, and then IGNOU is one of the members, and there are several universities and who are collaborating here, and a lot of Indian universities are collaborating also on SWAYAM platform, and BBIU also like one of the contributors. But till date, there is no course available from BBIU on SWAYAM, but we are under process. Maybe another 6 to 8 months there will be some courses. So initiated by Government of India, achieve the three cardinal principles: education policy, access, equity, and equality. So provide best learning resources to all, including the most disadvantaged students. So they have like Swayam Prabha, one internet, one TV channel is also there that provides the content from Swayam Prabha also. So Swayam features one-stop web and mobile-based interactive e-content for all courses. It is also web-based as well as mobile application is also there. High-quality learning experience using multimedia and state-of-the-art system that allow easy access, monitoring, and certification. Peer group interactions can be made through discussion forum to clarify doubts, and hybrid model of delivery that adds to the quality of classroom teaching. So we can include this as a blended learning also. Some courses we can include in our syllabus also. So maybe from the next year, or next academic year, we are also in process of adding some of the SWAYAM courses in our curriculum. So maybe some of the CBCS courses or other courses, they will be basically, you will have to complete those courses on SWAYAM, and only the university will accept the credit or the whatever credit or certificate you bring from SWAYAM. So like that, it is their hybrid model. Then regulatory framework, there are some guidelines for development and implementation of book 2017. Then in 2016, the uh, UGC credit framework for online regulation came into existence, where they said that UGC asked all universities uh, approve the credits that the student bring from SWAYAM. But the problem is that first university has to declare which courses they will allow to the students to pursue and include in their curriculum. So that is the difference. You cannot go and just complete a course and ask the university to accept it. If the department says that you can complete these courses from SWAYAM, then only their credits will be transferred. So lot of other guidelines are also available. Scope, lifelong learners can also learn from SWAYAM. A lot of courses are there, public health related, community hygiene, social work. So let lot of people can get benefit from such kind of courses. Skill based courses are also available. So for example, skills like if you want to have some music based course, or say for example camera editing, video editing, or shooting videos, like that, courses are available. Curriculum based courses for diverse disciplines, and independent courses are available. So now they have added some school education modules also. So these are the national coordinators and sectors in which they are participating. So UGC is for PG degree programs, non-technology but PG degree programs. NPTEL is for technical engineering based UG PG programs. CEC for non-technical UG degree programs. IGNOU for diploma and certificate skill based courses. NCRT from class 9 to 12. NCRT will be the national coordinator. Then open school education from class 9 to 12, that is an IOS. For management courses, IIM Bangalore. And for teachers training, NITTR. And for self-paced international courses, that is AICTE. So you see that a lot of national coordinators are there, and these coordinators are collaborating with the particular institutions, faculty members, and experts to get their material content created. So journey, what is like register with SWAYAM. First, the step is you register at SWAYAM, discover the courses, which courses you want to can complete. Their duration will be there, when it will run, when it will start and end date will be there. You can just there will be one intro video for some 5 minutes intro video will be there, as well as some text material will be there to understand the course, what kind of syllabus will be covered, what are the topics that will be covered, like that. Based on that, you can make your decision whether you want to enroll in that course. Then the next step is you have to enroll, and after once you have enrolled, then you will get the material, that is videos or learning material uh, in the course, and you can learn at your own pace. So for example, 16-week course is there. So first 2 weeks will be available right in the beginning, and then afterwards every week there will be a new material will be uploaded, and the learners can access it. And every week there will be some assignments that they have to submit, and they can also get clarification online using the discussion forums. So there will be someone moderator who will moderate, or a team of moderators who will moderate the discussion on the discussion forum. Then there will be some assignments, then you have to submit, complete your course, and also you have to give one proctored examination. Then when you complete your course, in between there will be some chance of register for exam. So there will be one form where you have to register for exam. You have to pay online. SWAYAM charges, I think, around 1000 rupees. for the students. And but if you are registered in some university, and like in a, for example, you are registered in already existing university, then you have to pay, but that money will be returned back if you pass the course. But if you are not registered, you have to pay 1000 rupees for giving the exam. You can complete a course, but you will not get a certificate if you do not uh, give the exam, that is proctored exam. Then there will be a proctored exam, like the right exam. Proctored exam, it will be on all over India. Some centers are allotted, mostly in all the states. Big cities, it is the centers are there. Then in proctored exam, you have to attend the exam, and then if you pass that exam plus the assignment scores, you will get a certificate. Then you can transfer the credit, your certificate, diploma, degree, you can do that also. So so that's what is here you mentioned: certification through Swayam, accepted and approved evaluation format in alignment with host institution. First, the host institution will approve evaluation format, then the proctored exam will be conducted nationwide, and the learners get credit from host institution, and learners can get the credit transferred to their parent institutions. Like that it happens. So UGC regulations also, they are existing, like online learning course. So MOOC, they have one regulation, evaluation certification regulations, amendment in university rules and regulations, seamless integration of MOOC. These are all there. So quadrant we were talking about, four quadrants are there. First quadrant, e-tutorial. Second quadrant, content will be there, reading material. And third quadrant, discussion forum. And fourth quadrant, assessment will be there. So, so usually for a 4 credit course, 40 videos of duration, 30 minutes each, means 20 hours video content should be there. And then 40 reading and learning material should be there. Max minimum of 3000, or maximum of 3000 words. Each learning material should have 3000 words, and 40 such learning material have to be uploaded. So 1 to 4 credit course is expected to be covered in 4 to 12 weeks duration. So if you have 4 credit course, like for example, right now this CDCS course, you have 4 credits, so it will take 4 to 12 weeks. 12 weeks you need to conduct complete a course that will be a 4 credit. So this is all about the this open educational resources. And